I'm here with Judy Mitchell, who's the Vice President of Client Services for the Kern Organization. So welcome, Judy.
Thank you.
I understand that a client presented you with an interesting growth challenge in a very competitive segment of the high-tech industry, and that using best practices in database marketing combined with in-depth tracking and analytics, you were able to rapidly grow that client's business. So can you tell me a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Our client had a couple of challenges. First of all, they had a new technology product. The second challenge was that it was in an extremely, as you mentioned, extremely competitive category. And third, they wanted to go national in a very short time frame. So that was really the three major challenges.
Got it. And I'm assuming they had very ambitious goals.
Yes, extremely ambitious in terms of the number of customers as well as the CPA, or cost per acquisition.
Got it. Now, since this was a new entrant into the category, presumably you didn't have a lot of information about the ideal target. So how did you go about determining who you would go after first?
Well, we actually had a pretty good idea who we were going to target because we have extensive experience marketing technology products to consumers. So we were able to bring that experience to the table and really right out of the gate provide some expertise in that area, as well as our control packages, which we have used in direct mail. We were able to leverage those that are very low cost as well as effective.
So you mentioned direct mail, and that sort of leads me into the next question, which was, why direct mail? Why didn't you pick one of the more trendy digital channels?
Well, we like to be trendy, but we also like programs to work well.
Right.
So for this particular program, we really needed a surgical targeting of the data, and digital really doesn't allow you to do that type of granular targeting. So that's why we chose direct mail.
Got it. That's
and also we started out small. We started out with about 250,000 circulation in the launch market, and we also did a lot of testing. We tested pre-approved data segments, we tested credit lookalike segments, we tested consumer databases, and we also tested a lot of specialty lists. So really the basis was testing. Also, we did not use any response models, so really the foundation of the initial mailing was based on Kern's category experience.
So you said you didn't use any response models, but I'm assuming they came into play at some point.
They did. As soon as we started to get the data in, as you know, our forte is tracking and analytics.
Right.
So as the first responses came in, we analyzed them, we developed market-specific models for the first launch market and then the subsequent markets. And then eventually we were able to develop a generic model to apply to the balance of the year, and we launched, in fact, about a dozen markets in year one using market-specific and also at the same time continuing to optimize our existing markets.
So that's what you did in year one, and then we moved into year two, and what changes did you make in your targeting for year two?
Well, year two we had some different challenges. We were opening 40 new markets.
Wow.
And they were all different sizes and demographics.
Right.
And we started by looking at each of the markets, looking at the demographics, analyzing them, and our model strategy changed in that we started to look at groupings of markets and model the groupings. So in other words, if a new market had similar demographics to an existing market that had a very successful, effective model,
right,
we applied that model, and our thought or assumption was that that would perform better than using just a generic model, and that in fact was the case.
Got it. So that took you through the second year, I'm assuming, and so what are you doing now?
Well, now we actually have a different approach. As the market tenures of the markets have increased, and of course the media spends have declined,
Right.
There was a new challenge. So we moved to a multi-source model utilizing the three major consumer databases, and that has allowed us to expand the mailable universe and mail approximately 20% more prospects, and of course, prospects with a higher likelihood of purchasing.
So, of course, the big question, without revealing anything that's proprietary, is how did
Well,
it work?
I would never do that.
Of course not.
I would
but,
never do
but,
that.
But how did it perform?
It performed great. We opened in total over 60 markets, and the results, the number of new customers exceeded the original goals, and the cost per acquisitions came in right on target.
Great.
And I also moving as the plans are still aggressive, but now we have an arsenal of optimization tools within our database that we can utilize, and we do utilize, and help the client to continue to grow their business.
So just, I'm assuming that the quantities increased as well?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
In the 2 years, we increased from approximately the first mailing, I think I mentioned 250,000, to we're mailing over 13 million pieces a month now.
Wow, that's really impressive. Well, thanks. I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thanks, Michael.